Hello and welcome to the channel. Today we're going to be checking out the Lone Rider tent, which is specifically designed for motorcyclists. So if you want to know if it's any good, stay tuned, but first, roll them credits. Okay, welcome back. So we're going to be looking at the Lone Rider tent today. I'm going to break it down into three segments. Segment one is we're going to be looking at the logistics, so how big it is, how heavy it is, what sort of bag it comes in, whether the bag's waterproof, you need something extra, how it fits onto the bike, will it fit into a top box, all those type of things. Section two is going to be actually putting the tent up, how easy, how long does it take. And then number three is going to be quality. We're going to be looking at the quality of the product, all the stitching, the materials involved, how usable it is, how big it is inside when the tent is actually up. So without further ado, let's get on to it and section one. Okay, let's start with the price of this tent. This tent is not a cheap item of kit. It costs £459 in the UK. Don't know what that equates to, whatever part of the world you're in. Google it and look it up. Don't expect me to do all the hard work for you. But yeah, so it's not a cheap item. So I am expecting and I'm hoping that this is a good quality item. Size-wise, it's quite compact. The outside bag looks very good. It's got plenty of room. You know, sometimes you get these tents and when you pack them up, it's an absolute nightmare trying to fit them back in the bag. I don't think we'll have a problem with this. It comes with two straps that are attached to the bag so that you can cinch it tight, and as you can see, it is cinched tight, so if I release those straps, there's going to be plenty of room for fitting the bag inside. On top, there's also these loops that are quite sturdy and well sewn in so that you can attach other things to it or attach a strap through it so that your straps aren't going to slide off the side when it's attached to your back seat or your back wrap. So looking from the outside, it looks very, very good. It comes in like the canoe dry sack style. You just unroll it like so, and then the tent fits in long ways. So yeah, very, very impressed with the outer packaging, and there are instructions on the inside how to put it up for idiots like me. Okay, weight, I believe that it's 5.44 kilograms. I'll put all the dimensions up on the screen now so that you can take a look and make sure that I've got it right. And it feels quite manageable. It doesn't feel too heavy at all. I think if this was on your back seat, then yeah, you wouldn't even know it was on the bike. If you put it in a top box and your top box is one of those that is quite high up, it may make a little difference to slow handling of the bikes. It may make the bike a little bit top heavy. But yeah, compared to some of the other tents, I have a Kayam biker tent, and that is 2 to 3 times the weight of this, or it feels that way anyway. So let's take this over to the bike and have a look at what it looks like when it's actually fitted on the bike. Okay, so here we can see, to give you an idea in relation to the bike, this is a Benelli TRK 502. Although it's not a big engine, it is quite a big bike, just to give you some context. Placing it on the back seat takes most of the back seat up. But yeah, it's not too big, it doesn't stick too far out at the sides. Here you can see from the other angle, as you can see, width-wise, it's not too bad at all. Doesn't really stick out much further than the edge of the exhaust. And that's equal both sides. So yeah, it's quite a nice compact size. Again, these loops here, if you were to get rock straps or something, thread them through and then down, hook them onto, you know, the grab rail on the back seat or wherever you can, anchor points on your bike. I'd be happy to have these because you know your straps aren't going to slide off each side with vibration or road movement. So yeah, I think ergonomics wise, for the size of the tent that's inside, yeah, big thumbs up. Really, really pleased with it. And again, just mentioned this outside bag. It's got nice reflective material strips on, so that if you're travelling at night, it does help with you getting seen in the dark. And also this material, it is waterproof, and it's also made of that ripstop material. So if you get a little nick in it, you know it's not going to spread and completely damage the whole of the bag. So again, real quality materials for the outside of the bag, and very, very pleased with it. Okay, next question, will it fit into a top box? Now, looking at the size of the tent, I think you're going to need a pretty big top box. Luckily, I have a big top box. This is the Givi, I think it's a Trekker Outback, and it's a 58 litre, so it is a big top box. But we will see whether it will fit inside. Okay, yes it does. Very, very surprised. It fits absolutely perfect in a 58 litre size box. I will give you a view from above. Okay, I hope you can see that okay. As you can see, yeah, fits in really nice and snug. Top, yeah, top shuts fine, even with all my crap that I've got in there. So yeah, very, very impressed. Okay, so section 2, how easy is it to put up? Now, looking on their website, they say you can put this tent up in 7 minutes. Now, I'm betting that's when you've put it up at least a dozen times and you've got the muscle memory and you know how to do it and where everything fits. Full disclosure, I haven't looked at the instructions how to put this tent up. However, about 4 or 5, 6 weeks ago, I watched a video on YouTube on how to put it up. And from what I can see, it's very simple. There are 2 sets of poles, both colour coded, one for the front, one for the back. And you basically slide the poles through, put 2 pegs in the back and then pull it forward, peg it at the front. Job done. You just go around and just put all the pegs in and fasten all the toggles on it. I have bought, if I remember right, I'm sure I bought an extra ground sheet so that in the awning part I can have a ground sheet on the floor, so that you know, when you're taking your boots on and off, you're not getting wet feet and so on and so forth. Now, another little side note with this, I bought this tent many, many months ago, and shortly after buying it, before I even had time to get it out of the bag, to put it up, to take a look at it, I was diagnosed with arthritis, ended up in hospital. I've recently had a hip replacement, which I'm still recovering from. I've got problems all over my body, my knees, my other hip, my shoulders, my hands. Basically, I'm foobarred. So with the level of pain and restricted movement that I've got at the moment, if I can put this tent up, it means any able-bodied person can put this tent up on their own. So this is going to be a really good test of how easy it is to put this tent up. Anyway, enough blathering. Let's get on with it and see what it's like putting the tent up. Okay, excuse the old man's walking stick. It's only 2 weeks ago that I came off having to walk with 2 of them. Couldn't even walk about 2 of them. And I'm going to need that to be getting up and down. Okay, so we're just starting. It's just gone 12 o'clock in the afternoon. So let's see how long it takes us to put this up. So, comes out of the bag really well. I think that, not sure, oh, that's the ground sheet that I bought. So it has 2 tyres. This is all new to me, so we're discovering this together. As I said, I never got a chance to open it. That is the ground sheet that actually comes with the tent. So that's a footprint. You can either put that as an extra ground sheet underneath the sleeping quarters to keep the bottom of the tent clear, or you could use that actually in the awning part if you wanted, but I've elected to buy an extra one for the awning. Okay, some sort of patches and a pole fixer so that if you rip it, so that's a nice little touch. Tent pegs, which are very, very light. If you've seen my other videos where I review tents, you know that I have OCD about tent pegs. But yeah, those are very good quality. I like those. I'll most probably use those without adding extra ones. Here are the poles. And again, quite heavy. They're most probably, I would say, 1/3 of the weight of the tent, those. So they look good quality. And again, they're an aluminium design, like an alloy design. So they're not like the plastic or the carbon fibre ones. So very good quality poles. Both colour coded, as I said. You've got the black and the red. And then you've got the tent itself. Okay, so that's about 2 or 3 minutes gone. I just need to readjust the angle of the camera, so we'll knock a few minutes off for that and then we'll commence putting it up. Okay, so I've just laid the ground sheet out. Obviously I've not done this before, I haven't looked at the instructions, so I'm guessing that the narrowest part of the ground sheet, or the footprint for I'm using for the sleeping quarters, is going to be at the back of the tent. I believe that when you open the tent up, I seem to remember from the video they said black is back. So here is the black. So I'm going to bring this over this way. That corner there. Oh. That corner there. Oh, I'm going to have some painkillers after doing this. Okay, and as with any tent, first thing you do, you orientate it to where you actually want it pitched on the ground, which way you want your door facing. Little tip, take into consideration which way the wind's coming. So, you know, if you're on a very elevated position, you might not want the front door facing into the wind. Also, always consider the ground that you're pitching the tent on. Try and get it as level as you can with no big boulders, because at the end of the day you are going to be sleeping on the floor and you don't want nothing sticking on your back. Poles normally have a curve to them. I think you can see on that one. Just give it a wiggle and you get a nice round curve, archway. I should have brought my grabber. I've got one of them old granny grabber things, like a claw that picks things up off the floor for you. I should have brought it out, but I'm too proud. Seriously guys, I really never realised just how much arthritis can affect you. My hat goes off to these old people when you see them with all the knuckles twisted and swollen and they doubled over walking. You just don't realise how much pain they must be in. Okay, so I got it slightly wrong at the front. There's not 2 sets of poles, there are 3. 2 sets of red, 1 set of black. Again, just give it a little wiggle. That one's not right. That's white. Are those both the same length? Yeah, so you can't get them mixed up. It doesn't really matter. Another good tip is check the bottom of the tent, because a lot of the time you have to thread them in from one side only. Yeah, and I'm going to have to thread that from the other side. Ugh. Again guys, when threading tent poles through, if they get stuck, don't force them. Otherwise you'll bob and hole in the actual tent, cause damage to the tent. This is the last thing you want to do, especially a tent that costs as much as this one. Forgive me if I'm teaching any of you to suck eggs out there. However, I do get plenty of newbies on the channel, always asking for tips on how to do things. So here we have a little tag with a loop on. It's just a matter of tensioning that and pushing it in. So that was easy enough. And as you can see, that's how it'll be. We'll be pegging the back one out and then working our way forward with the poles and the pegs as we go along. So as you can see, it's 2, 4, 6, 8 tent pegs, 3 poles, and the tent is virtually up. It's just a matter of going around. Okay, so what we need to do now is just make sure that the ground sheet, the ground footprint underneath the bedding compartment is secured securely. As I said, the back edge is the shortest in width, and what we need to do is just peg out the back of the tent using these loops, like so. And then if I remember rightly, you unzip the back, and then I don't know if you can see, but here there is a red tag. I don't know if you can see that. Little red loop and a little red hook, and you just hook it in place. And then you do the same with this side. Here you can see, clearly see, it's colour coded, and again there's a hook on the back of the ground sheet. You hook it in place, zip this back up, and then it's a matter of popping your hand underneath, pulling the ground sheet forward, and then just inside the tent, inside here, there's another little tab and a hook, and you can hook the front on. I'll show you from the inside now. Okay, so now we're inside the tent, just looking down, and here you can see there is the hook, and there's one the other side, and it just hooks in place. To be honest, I'm not very impressed with the footprint or the ground sheet that fits underneath the slipping compartment. It doesn't seem the right size, it doesn't seem very secure. I think what I will do is I will actually use a tent peg, and instead of having it clipped like so, I'll just clip it the other side to make sure it doesn't pull it tight. Yeah, no, yeah, it doesn't seem to be the right size to fit underneath this slipping compartment. It seems as though it's too big. So I think what I'll do, it's easy to remedy, just get a tent peg and then just pull it a little bit more tight, and it will secure it in place. But no, I'm not impressed with the ground sheet. I'll put the other ground sheet in the front of the awning and see how that fits. Okay, so just looking inside, standing in the awning. I'm standing completely upright. It's not even touching the top of my head. It's really good. I've pegged out the front of the door so it gives it a bit of tension, so you can see what it's all like. And as you can see, there's plenty of room in between the sleeping quarters and the side of the tent, so I don't think you'll have any problems with water ingress. The door has a nice feature where it has a double feature, so that you can actually open the door and then you can just have this mesh. So you could quite easily roll that door up back and then just fasten that, and it's like a mosquito net, so you've still got the airflow but it's keeping the mosquitoes out, so that's a nice little touch. Looking inside the sleeping compartment, yeah, there's loads of room for 2 people in here. Also get a little bit of kit in here as well. But I mean, you've got the front porch, the front awning area anyway for all your kit. So yeah, it's a really good size for 2 people in here. And even, you know, 6 foot plus people are going to be able to sleep in here, no problems whatsoever. Again, we also have access to this side of the tent, and again it also has that mosquito net feature, so that you could open both doors and just have complete airflow going through. So yeah, that is very, very nice. Okay, so let's see how the ground sheet fits in the front. And again, they're both exactly the same size. This is just a duplicate ground sheet that I ordered, so that I could have one ground sheet underneath the sleeping quarters and another ground sheet in the front, because the tent only comes with one, so you have to make the choice whether you want it in your awning or whether you want it under the sleeping quarters. Again, colour coded hooks. So, oh, excuse me, as you look down you can see little red tabs. So that goes on there like so. Then there's one this side. And then the rear again. There's a black hoop. Take it that one goes on there like so. And there you can see the ground sheet fitted in the awning. And again, to be honest, I'm not impressed with these ground sheets, guys. They're a funny shape. They don't seem to fit right. That looks too small to me. Yeah, I'm not impressed with the ground sheets at all. It just looks like it's an afterthought and it's been done by a 2-year-old. So for the price of the tent, that is very, very poor indeed. Okay, so that's the tent up. Obviously, just because I'm testing it, I haven't put all the pegs in and got it all looking nice and you know, tight and spaced out how it should be. That's for another camping trip. But what are my views on it? Am I glad that I bought it? I am glad. However, I'm disappointed about the ground sheets. The ground sheets just look like an afterthought. They decided to make a ground sheet. Nobody had the tent to hand or had the measurements, and they just gassed it. I'm nitpicking a bit. I mean, the ground sheets do work. They will keep your feet dry. They will keep the bottom of the tent clean, but they just don't fit. And for the price you're paying, £459, I'd expect the ground sheets to fit. You know, it's not a cheap tent. But, you know, that's the only thing I can find wrong with it. I could put this tent up, I reckon, in about 10 minutes. It's took me a long time today. I've had to keep sitting down and having a rest, but that's because I'm not on the best of health at the moment. But if I was fully able, up to speed like I normally am, I could put that up in 10 minutes, no problem at all on my own. Quality-wise, the materials are really good. The poles are alloy poles. They look really strong. They look excellent. I really like how the guy ropes are pre-attached behind here. There are little pockets so that when you come to put the tent away, you can just wind them up, shove them in the pocket, fold the tent up. Yep, very well thought out. The ergonomics of it have been well thought out. You know, you've got a door here, a door on the back, a door on that side. You can open them all up. You can have airflow going through the tent. So if you were taking this abroad in hotter climates, it would be an ideal tent for that. Why did I buy this tent? To be honest, brutally honest, I bought this tent because of my health. The tents that I've got, they're very low. I'm crawling around, I'm having to get up, get down off the floor. I need something where I can actually sit down on a chair under cover. And this is one of the very, very few tents that offers me that ability and comes in at such a lightweight and such a small size that I can actually get it into a top box. And that is the reason why I bought this tent. So anybody out there who, you know, isn't able-bodied or has got some condition where they've got a lot of pain, this tent is ideal for you if that's what you need. You can sit in there, out the sun, out the rain, out the wind, get dressed, stand up. Absolutely amazing. Instead of like with my other tents, I'm doing everything kneeling down. It's difficult to get my boots on, difficult to get dressed, difficult to get in and out the sleeping bag. With this, I've got absolutely no problems. Apparently you can get up to a GS 1200 size bike in the front awning. They call it a garage. I won't be doing that. The only way I'd ever put a bike in this tent is if it was throwing it down with rain and I needed to work on the bike to fix it. There is absolutely no way my bike is going in this tent. It can stay outside. So yeah, all in all, I am pretty chuffed with the tent. Obviously I haven't used it yet, it hasn't had a battering by the weather. Don't know what the waterproofness is going to be like, but it all looks as though it's going to be okay. Later on, towards the end of the year, when I've used this a few times, I will let you know an update on it and let you know how I go on with it. So I will bring the video to the end here. I hope it's been helpful for you. If it hasn't been one of my best videos, I'm a bit rusty. It's been about 5 or 6 months since I've been able to get out and up on my feet and start shooting footage again. So it takes a little bit to get back into it. So I apologise if it's not up to the usual standard. And on that note, everybody who's come back, who are regulars, thank you for keeping the faith. It was a long 6 months with no footage, nothing new to the channel. So I am really appreciative of that. And if you're new to the channel, please give it a like, subscribe. There's loads and loads of backlog catalogue of things, bike rides, reviews, everything to do with the motorbike scene. So knock yourselves out and please give me your support and help me to get the channel up and running again. So all I'd like to say to everybody is thank you very much for keeping the faith. There's going to be loads more coming up to the channel now that I'm back on my 2 feet. I've got loads of things planned. So everybody ride safe. Bike Rider Reviews out.